So what is Fegli? As I said, it is federal employees group life insurance. Um, it's a group plan, as it insinuates, right? Everybody's lumped together, whether you're healthy, sick, smoker, non-smoker, male, female, everybody is lumped together. It's administered by MetLife. That's who's under contract with OPM. Most people would recognize MetLife, Snoopy and the blimp, the MetLife blimp. But that's who is administering your Fegli program. And there are four parts to Fegli. There's basic, and there's options A, B, and C. You must have basic in order to have any of the optional coverages. And we're going to go over these as well as go through an example of a federal employee that has these different things to see, so you can kind of compare it to your situation and see if you need any assistance. So basic Fegli, what is it? This is something that federal employees are automatically covered under when you first get hired, unless you explicitly state in writing by the end of the first pay period that you do not want it. You can opt out right away. Most federal employees will have basic. Why? Because the costs are relatively low. You pay 16 cents per pay period per $1,000 worth of coverage that you have. And again, we're going to go over an example. I'll show you how this works. Coverage. Now, how much coverage do you have when it comes to your Fegli basic? It's essentially one multiple of your salary. Now, we take your total base pay plus locality, round that number up to the next $1,000, add two more thousand to that, and that is your total basic Fegli coverage amount. Again, there's a cost for that. We just mentioned 16 cents per thousand per pay period, but this is how you get your basic coverage amount. There is an extra benefit for those that are under the age of 45. Basic offers some extra free insurance. How do we calculate that? If you look at this chart, based on your age, you take that factor and you multiply that by your basic Fegli coverage and add that to the total. So if you're age 43, you're going to get a 20% bump in your coverage when it comes on top of your Fegli basic. Notice how this is a decreasing extra benefit and ceases to exist at age 45. But for those under 45, you get a little bit of extra coverage. For those under 35 or 35 and under, you get essentially a doubling, right? The factor is 1%, or not 1%, is 1.0, meaning they will take whatever your Fegli basic is, multiply it by 1, and then add that to the total. So there's a doubling effect. In retirement, with your basic, you have essentially four options when it comes to this. Now, one of them is pretty simple. You can cancel it. I don't see a lot of federal employees do this, but you can certainly cancel coverage altogether, not keep it with you in retirement. When you do fill out your retirement paperwork, however, they're going to give you the three choices. Which continuation of basic Fegli do you want to take? And you have three choices if you want to keep something. There's one that has you retain 25% of your coverage. It's called the 75% reduction option. You can keep 50%. That's called the 50% reduction option. And you can keep all of it, which is a 0% reduction option. These are the three. You can keep 25%, keep 50, or keep it all. Just out of curiosity, if you're watching this and you're wondering, which one should I choose? Which one do you think is the most popular option that federal employees take or federal retirees take? Give you a second. If you thought or said the 25% option, you'd be correct. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on all of these. I'll just let you know that the reason that the 75% reduction option, or keeping 25%, is the most popular is because this is the only one that will be free in retirement. So in retirement or at age 65, whichever happens later, this Fegli basic amount will be free and start to reduce, and you get to keep 25% of your basic Fegli for free in retirement. That's why it's the most popular. We can go over your individual situation and see which one is right for you. Now, if you have basic and maybe you chose these optional coverages, I want to let you know what those options are. If you are not familiar with the optional coverage or do not know if you have these optional coverages, we need to talk, because we can look at your leave and earnings statement, your paycheck stub, and just a rule of thumb is if you do not have it or you're not paying for it, you do not have it. If you are not paying for it, you do not have it. The government gives you some things for free, but they're not going to give you all of these options for free. So if you're not paying for it, you do not have it. We can decipher what those codes are in your paycheck stub so you can see which coverages you elected and which coverages you still have. And what do I mean by that is because if you did not make a change from now or from when you got hired until now, then those selections have remained exactly the same. So understand that if situations change, circumstances change, your life has changed since you first got hired and your life insurance need has changed, then those have remained exactly the same. The government doesn't automatically change those for you. So you want to know what you have? We got to take a deeper dive into your situation. Go to our website, www.federalretirementshow.com. Fill out the form. We will be in touch in order to go over not only just your Fegli, but all of your benefits and retirement situation. Okay, let's go over the optional coverages. There's options A, B, and C. Option A is the easiest one to understand. This is just an extra $10,000 worth of insurance. It's also known as standard optional insurance. I said $10,000. There's very low costs for this. And just like all the other options, premiums do increase, costs do increase every 5 years. This one begins at age 40 is when you'll start seeing increases. As I mentioned, we're going to go over an example of this. If you want to keep your option A in retirement, unlike basic, you don't have multiple choices. If you want to keep option A in retirement, it's one option. It will become free at the age of 65 or retirement, whichever is later, and it will reduce and ultimately stop at 25%, or in this case, an extra $2,500 that you would take with you for free for the rest of your life. Option B, now this is the biggest one. This is the one that causes the biggest concern for federal employees. Why? Because you can get up to 5 times your salary. You can choose between 1 to 5 multiples of your salary in additional life insurance on top of basic, on top of option A. Premiums do increase every 5 years starting at age 40. We'll go over an example and you can see exactly how that works. Option C. Now, up to this point, as a federal employee, your basic, option A and option B, they are all on you, the federal employee. Option C is the first one now that is on spouse and children. So this is where you can get up to 5 units of coverage. Option C is known as family optional insurance. You can get up to 5 units. I've seen this get confused where people have told me, I have 5 times my salary for me, and then I have 5 times my salary for my spouse. And that is incorrect. You have up to 5 units of coverage for option C. What is a unit? A unit is $5,000 for a spouse, max coverage then $25,000, and it's $2,500 for each child. A child is under the age of 22 and not married, and the max coverage for them is $12,500. So again, it's up to 5 units, not 5 multiples for option C.